Good morning, my awesome friends. It's a new week and a new day, and today we are going to learn about painting with glass paint. So I don't often use the glass paint or glass stain, but today we're going to give it a try and see whether you like it or not. So I've already prepared 2 tags for you, and when you're using glass stain, it's much easier to paint if you have a die cut or an area that is blank in the middle so the stain doesn't run. I just find it easier to control that way. So these are the 2 that I've chosen. I usually decant the glass stain onto something because you don't want your stain to actually get a little bit too dry or strong. No, that's not the right word. Sorry, dry or strong. I'm obviously thinking I need a strong cup of coffee. You don't want your glass paint to get sticky and tough, so it's best to close it as soon as possible. Once again, I'm using an old paintbrush that I cut so the bristles are really short. And then we start. So I find it's best to put like a dollop sort of in the middle of your area that you want to paint. And then you're not really painting it, you're dabbing it on, if you can see. And just a tip, make sure you work in a dust-free environment so something doesn't stick on your glass paint, because it does take quite a few hours to dry. I usually let it dry overnight. All right, and then another big dollop. You can see that I'm easing it to the edges. Yo, very noisy house. I've got the children home, which is wonderful, or should I say one of the sons are home, and they're making a lovely noise here now. Okay, now as you can see, I went over the edge there and I use a wooden toothpick just to tidy that up very gently. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. Look how amazing that is. So that is your glass paint, and let's do the other heart. Dab it on. So the paint is very thick. It's not ideal to use on small areas unless you've got a lot of patience. And there we go. Okay, how's that? Okay, so the thing that I love about the glass paint is that it's translucent and you can actually see through the paint. So if you've done any techniquing, it's not hidden by the color, it shows through the color. All right, let's just wipe the speck there. Alrighty then. Look how amazing that is. So using the same brush, just giving it a wipe, and I'm going to do this heart, I think, in purple. Let's try some purple. Also, once again, pour a little bit of it out and keep this closed and clean so you don't struggle to open it, but make sure you close it tightly. Using the same brush, I'm just going to paint these purple hearts here. The purple's quite dark, but it will look lovely. So for those of you who do resin work, it kind of looks like resin. Can you see that? Do you think I should do them all purple? Or should I do a few different colors? Let's do a few different colors. Okay. And so this is a bit difficult. You can see the area that I want to paint is very small and the brush is quite thick. So this is when the toothpick comes in handy, because you've got better control with the toothpick. And just pushing it into the areas, and then we're going to tidy it up. Okay. And here. So finicky die cuts or stickers are not going to be working well with this technique, because the glass paint is really hard to control in small areas. And now I'm just making a mess. It's good to make a mess because you always think everything's perfect behind the scenes. And this is one of my least favorite ways of coloring because it's so finicky. Okay, there you go. Not too bad. And I think I'm going to use some of this leftover red that I've got here. So I recycle a lot of packaging, and this is the plastic lid from some takeaways that I'm using. It works really well. And nothing goes to waste. So girls, don't rush out and go and buy glass paints. It's honestly not necessary. If you have them, then great, you can test this tutorial. If you really want to do it, then just buy yourself your favorite color. Don't go and buy all of the colors. The only reason I have this is I did a pewter course about 10 years ago, and I had some of the glass paints from then. So it's certainly not something I went and bought because I want a metal tape and color metal tape. Okay. This is a lovely yellow color. Now it's quite funny because the bottle says this is sepia, but it's more yellow. And the orange stain, which is meant to be yellow, is more orange. So you just don't really know what you're going to get in the bottle. Okay. And shall we do this one here? Okay. So that's it. Once it's dry, it'll look amazing and you'll be able to see more of the detail. So just put it aside for a couple of hours, and then I'll try and take a video clip for you in the natural light so you can see how nice it is when it's dried. But for those of you who saw my cross that I made on my Made by KJ Facebook page, this is exactly the technique I used for the heart on the cross. Anyway, give it a bash. You can get Dollar glass stain locally, and then also Heritage glass stain. But yeah, whatever you have, use, but don't go rush out and buy it. Thanks for looking, and please follow us on Tape a Tag on Facebook. Share your creations and look forward to seeing what you can do with some glass paint.